this life has anything to gain at all, I'll count a loss if I can't hear you, feel you, cause I need you. Can't walk this earth alone. I recognize I'm not my own. So before I fall, I need to hear you, feel you, as I live to make my boast in you alone.
What's my life if it's not praising you? Another dollar in my bank account, a vain pursuit. I do not count my life as any value or precious at all. Let me finish my race, let me answer my call.
You know, in day one's video, October 1st, if you remember it, it talks about treasuring Christ above everything else, and that message is a hard message to receive, because you know our world's telling you the exact opposite. It's telling you to treasure all the things that you can get and to buy more and more and more and more. And I heard a funny quote the other day. Somebody said, yeah, get an iPhone 5 because it would be a great toy to play with while you're standing in line for the iPhone 6. And you know, that's just the way our world works, you know. I remember when I first bought my MacBook, you know, my friend Preston, which is on our team, he said in like 3 months after I bought it, he's like, man, that thing's already out of date. You know, and now we laugh about it. He always tells me, you know, they don't even sell my model Mac anymore, and that's probably true, you know, because that's how our world works. Bigger, newer, the next thing. And in our life, you know, a lot of times it's about, you know, the money that we have. You know, you see people driving real nice cars or rims or whatever, and so the temptation is that my self-worth is what I have, is the things that I can obtain or whatever. Same thing happened in biblical times, you know. The Apostle Paul talks about, you know, things that he gained in his life, and how when Jesus Christ came into his life, how you know, all that changed. Not just some of it, but all of it changed, and his focus completely got turned around. His mind was changed. You know, and how do you change a person's mind? You know, I mean, something has to happen pretty drastic. You have to be proven wrong, and no one likes to be proved wrong. No one likes to admit to be proven wrong. But when Jesus Christ came into Paul's life, you know, everything changed, and so for him, you know, gain was the titles he held, the positions he held, you know, the accomplishments he already went through, and the things that he did for what he was committed to, you know, the things he knew. You know, he was a studied person. He was very, very, very intelligent, and in a lot of ways that were very respectable in his time. But for us, you know, it's probably money, because money buys all this stuff that the world's telling us to buy, accomplish, and collect and consume. You know, we live in a consumeristic society, and that's just the nature of it, you know, of America. But let me tell you something, my nature's been changed. I used to think that way. I searched for significance for a long time, and never had a lot of money, but I always worked. I always had a job because I felt like money, you know, and having a job was, you know, significance. I felt like I was somebody if I had money. I was somebody if I had a car. You know, and so in high school I just worked so diligently, worked 2 jobs just to get a car so I could be somebody, you know. And so anyway, in Paul's life, it's probably my favorite scripture in the whole Bible is Philippians chapter 3, verse 6 and 7, because you just see Paul's transformation of what he once thought, you know. And the first part of chapter 3, you can see the context of the scripture I'm about to read. If anyone else thinks he has reasons to put confidence in the flesh, I have more. He says, circumcised on the 8th day, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, in regard to the law, a Pharisee, as for zeal persecuting the church, as for legalistic righteousness, faultless. And he's just talking about, you know, things that made him feel significant in life, you know, things that his accomplishments, you know. And he said, I'm a Hebrew of Hebrews, and he's writing to the, you know, Philippian church, which they knew what all that meant, and they knew the position that Paul held and who he was. But he says this, and this is so just earth-shaking for me when he says this. But he says, whatever was to my profit, now I consider loss. You get that? Listen. But whatever was to my profit, now I consider loss. What? What is he saying? Listen to this. He goes even further than that. He says this. He says, what is more, I consider everything a loss compared to the surpassing knowledge of Jesus Christ. So he's basically saying that at one point he looked at all these things that he gained and accomplished and titles he held as significance in his life, things that he held close, things that he treasured, and now those things that he once treasured, now if he would compare them to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, they would look like literally like dung. That's what the King James Version used. It's doo-doo. I mean, it would be nothing. They would be nothing. How could your accomplishments and priorities and things that you had before, things that you loved before being up here, all of a sudden be completely down at the bottom? Change of heart. Your heart has to be changed. And so treasuring Christ above all else cannot happen until your heart is changed. And in the Bible, it talks about a heart being regenerated. It means to be completely changed. A complete and total transformation of the heart. And then what happens? Your mind follows. Your mind is transformed. And if your identity is found in that car outside with rims, if your identity is found in that house you live in or that boat you got or whatever, you might as well give that up, because it's going to lead you down a road that's just very empty. Every time you're going to be empty.